Hi, I'm Wendy Thompson, and I'm a librarian at the Round Rock Campus Library. In this tutorial, I will demonstrate how to search databases using a PICO question. We will be using the following PICO question. In the elementary grade pediatric patient identified as having severe asthma, does the use of a controller medication, inhaled corticosteroid, compared to not using a controller medication, increase physical activity participation at school in the fall semester? The first thing to do is to break up the components of the PICO question. For patient problem, we have elementary grade pediatric patient with severe asthma. For intervention, we have controller medication, inhaled corticosteroid. For comparison, we have not using a controller medication. And for outcome, we have increased physical activity participation during fall semester. No matter if you are starting your research with a PICO question or research question, you will always need to identify the most important concepts for your research before attempting to search a database. There are techniques to searching databases, and the most important one is keyword searching, which means searching using specific words instead of an entire sentence or question. Here, I have selected the main concepts from the PICO components we identified earlier. These are the keywords we will use to search the database. Before we move on to discussing more search techniques, I want to show you what happens when you search a database using a question instead of keyword searching. As you can see in this screenshot from a search in the database CINAHL Complete, typing an entire sentence or question will return little to no results. That is why using keyword searching is important. Just to recap, the main features of keyword searching are identifying the main concepts of your topic or question and excluding non-essential words like in, the, having, does, use, and also any punctuation. Another helpful strategy is to group similar concepts together. As you will see when we discuss other search techniques, doing so will result in more efficient searching. On our list, the terms controller medication and inhaled corticosteroid are broader and narrower terms for the same concept, so we will group them together. Physical activity and physical education are different terms for the same concept, so we will group those terms together as well. In the next two slides, I will be discussing different search commands. In addition to keyword searching, the commands and or are the most useful search commands. When you connect keywords with and, the database will return articles that mention each term. For example, if we typed the search string, pediatric patient and asthma, the database will only return articles that mention both of those terms. When you connect keywords with or, the database will return articles that mention either term. If our search string is physical activity or physical education, we will retrieve articles that mention physical activity and articles that mention physical education, but not necessarily articles that discuss both terms. The command or is very useful when you have multiple terms for your concepts, because the database is only going to bring articles that mention the specific words you type in the search box. If an author used the term physical education instead of physical activity, and you only typed physical activity into the search box, the database will not return the article that uses the term physical education. Identifying alternate terms for your concept is also a great strategy to use when you do not return that many results from your initial search string. Two other commands that you may find useful are phrase searching and truncation. phrase searching ensures the database will return articles that mention a specific phrase. For example, if we want articles that mention the words inhaled corticosteroid together, we can place quotations around the phrase. This will ensure the database only returns articles that mention those two words together as a phrase. If we do not place quotation marks around the phrase, the database will return articles that mention the term inhaled somewhere in the article and the term corticosteroid somewhere in the article, but not necessarily together. The truncation search command is useful when you have a term that may have variable endings. If we truncated the term medicate by taking the word down to the root, M-E-D-I-C-A-T, then placing an asterisk after the T, the database will return articles that mention any term with that root, including medicate, medicating, medication. This screenshot from the database in All Complete depicts a search string using the search strategies we have discussed. This search string commands the database to retrieve articles that mention the terms pediatric patient, singular plural, asthma, and inhaled corticosteroid. The database will also return articles that mention all of the following terms: pediatric patient, singular plural, asthma, and controller medication. The last search tip I want to mention is limiting your search, especially your initial search, to just 2 to 3 concepts. It is very likely that your PICO question will contain multiple concepts, but you will retrieve more results if you select the main concepts that you want the articles to focus on, rather than conducting a search that uses all of your PICO terms. The thinking behind this strategy is that the likelihood that a researcher conducted a study dealing with all of your specific PICO terms is slim to none, but there probably are research studies that involve a few of your main concepts. This concludes the tutorial on searching databases using a PICO question. If you have any questions or need further assistance locating library resources, please stop by the Round Rock Campus Library. You can contact us via phone, through chat or email, or you can set up an appointment.